Hey guys, this is Yoda. In this video, we'll talk about Prot Paladin and what has happened to it in Midnight. It's so far on the beta and why it is completely the worst tank you have ever seen. So first we'll talk about the major changes. Number one, Righteous Protector and Resolute Defender have been completely reworked. Righteous Defender now basically reduces the cooldown of your wings to 1 minute. It has reduced duration, but you also have this, so like you're definitely gaining some cooldown or some uptime by taking this talent compared to live is probably still going to be a bit lower, but it's not like as bad as this talent actually reads. The main problem is that Resolute Defender is gone. If we compare this to live, which I'm going to tab to right now. These two talents say every time you do a finisher, the cooldown of Wings and Guardian of Ancient Kings reduced by 1.5, and cooldown of Bubble and our Defender reduced by 2. These talents are completely gone, which means that the uptime of those abilities, every single one of your defensive abilities, is probably going to be less than halved. Like, more than halved, rather. Like, you're losing more than half of the uptime you had before. Blizzard is aware of this. They said, our goal with doing this is to make Prot Paladin less reliant on cooldowns and more passively tanky. And the next part of this video is going to prove why Paladin is not more passively tanky. In fact, it is significantly less passively tanky. So, first we're going to look at the mastery. They changed the mastery. They said this will be make Prot Paladin tankier. But they are wrong. In fact, this makes Prot Paladin significantly squishier. So, looking at the block chance, you have a 20% chance, 21% block, and 42% spell block. Okay, that's not bad. Compare this to live, which, you know, as you guys know, I play really low mastery on live, got 6.6k. All my other stats are like, you know, in the 20,000s. So mastery is a very, very low proportion of stats that I put into it. You can see here I have 21% block. However, what they forgot to mention is that on live, we have Barricade of Faith and Faith in the Light. So if you guys have watched any of my Paladin content, you know that I recommend going up to a certain amount of mastery so that when you put your two active buffs up, Barricade of Faith, which is always up, Faith in the Light, which is always up when you have no cooldowns, everyone knows that, your block chance is actually in the 90s. Okay, right now it's like 87 because I don't have a flask on, I don't have anything. But realistically, it's roughly it's like 90 to 92%, and your spell block is 100%. When you have no cooldowns up, you're always maintaining that because you know you're not tanky. You need to put like your basic mitigation up, which is Faith in the Light and Barricade of Faith. So we're going from 90-ish% block with no cooldowns to beta 27% block all the time. So we're blocking what we went from 100% of hits being unblocked to now 75% of hits. 100% block, sorry, 0% to 75%. 0% of hits hitting you unblocked. Maybe physical is 8% hitting you unblocked. And on beta, it's going to be more than 70% hitting you unblocked. So actually, according to your block chance, you are significantly less tanky on beta than compared to live. Next, we're going to talk about Consecrate DR. So if you don't read the if you didn't see, Consecrate DR is completely missing from your mastery. You have no DR from Consecrate. You just put it down for fun. There is a talent called Sanctuary, which gives you 5% DR from Consecrate. That's their match to live. So we're going to compare this to live right now. So on live, as you guys know, I play very low mastery, 6.6k. Everything else is like 20k plus except verse. And my Consecrate DR is 11%. So we're losing half the DR there too. That's just completely gone. Nice. All right, so we've established that Consecrate is now half as strong as it was before. Our block chance is, you know, a much smaller fraction than that compared to live. Our cooldowns do not exist. They're up like less than half the time that they are on live, and that's being generous. And then we're going to talk about, next we're going to talk about some other things. Those are the main problems. Consecrate DR is gone, block DR is gone, and we have no cooldowns ever. Next, there are some other also issues that are like less major, but those are the major ones. So the less major ones are, number one, Hammer of Wrath is a DPS decrease and a tankiness decrease to take. So this transforms your Judgment into Hammer of Wrath during Wings. What they don't mention is that Judgment does not cleave additional targets, and you also don't get Greater Judgment when you switch to Hammer of Wrath. So yeah, just don't take this talent. It's just terrible. Surely they're gonna fix that, but yeah, you don't want to play this talent. You're actually losing out by playing this talent. Next, we're going to talk about Word of Glory. So everyone always complains about Prot Paladin. Oh yeah, Word of Glory heals for jack shit. Surely on beta they will make it heal for more. Well, actually, if you look at Word of Glory, it heals for 26,553. I got 634k. All right, that's less than 5%. On live, the number is not looking that much better. 1.2 million out of 2.23.6. It's a little over 5%, so that's probably, I'm going to say, based on like gear differences. Like I have a little bit more strength compared to my stamina on live. So I think the total value has not been adjusted. But on beta, if you'll note, look on the left. These talents have also completely changed. Blessing of Dusk now is just some DR depending on your health reduction. How low your health is. On live, Blessing of Dusk is completely different. You have both of these, damage reduced by 4%, basically permanently, which is roughly equivalent to the Blessing of Dusk we have on beta. But what you also note is we have Blessing of Dawn. Your next Holy Power spending ability deals 30% increased, and it stacks every time you spend Holy Power. On beta, we don't have that. Blessing of Dawn is while you're above 85% health, your allies take like share 5% with you, except that you're Prot Paladin, so you're permanently dying because of what we said before. So you actually don't want to even take this talent. So your Word of Glory is healing for less than before. And as we already mentioned, you have much lower block chance, you have half the Consecrate DR, and you never have cooldowns. Oh yeah, and there's some other small things like Redoubt has been completely changed. Shields of Righteous gives you a little bit more armor compared to live. Redoubt gives you strength and stamina, which passively also gives you more armor. The live version of Redoubt is significantly better than the beta version. So you're basically just losing out on all fronts. Damage-wise, I've heard that if you like are fighting some target dummies, you can do okay damage as a Prot Paladin, but your tankiness is simply not there. We have lost so much compared to live, and it's already not even that tanky on live, right? Everyone knows on live, if your Prot Paladin is extremely good at the game, like the best player to ever play World of Warcraft, then you're like still less tanky than a Prot Warrior that's like rolling his face on his keyboard. So I really hope they do something about this. But yeah, just wanted to make a video to highlight all of the issues, or not even all, the major issues that Prot Paladin is suffering from, and hopefully they do something about it. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. Peace out.